In September of 1996, after the Tupac Shakur shooting, Compton Police Department Gang Unit Detective Tim Brennan compiled information to secure a search warrant affidavit. Compton Police Department invited the Las Vegas Police Department to help with the gang sweep because they believed they found suspects involved in the Shakur shooting. And this is Tim Brennan, and this is the search warrant. According to Tim Brennan and his partner Robert Ladd, they knew everyone involved in the Tupac Shakur shooting, since they believed the alleged shooter and passengers all were from Compton. "We knew who the players were from the beginning," said Tim Brennan. Compton Police Department sourced 3 confidential reliable informants. The informants allegedly had information on everyone that was in the Cadillac down to the shooter. These are the 3 statements from the confidential reliable informants in the search warrant. Keefe D and Big Dre were never mentioned as being the shooter or inside of the Cadillac or even in Las Vegas at the time. According to the search warrant, Orlando Anderson, Darnell Brim, Bobby Finch, Davion Brooks, Terrence T. Brown were brought up as the suspected entourage inside of the Cadillac. The lead reporter for the Las Vegas Sun, Kathy Scott, discussed the names of the passengers who were believed to be inside of the Cadillac.
Let me ask you something. You mentioned the white Cadillac. Do you think that the white Cadillac that held the people that killed Tupac, probably from what I read, Davion Brooks, Orlando Anderson, Darnell Brim, and Bobby Finch.
Do you think 3 of them are dead? One is living.
I think it's. I know that Finch got killed. Anderson, of course, got killed. Brooks.
One of the 2. There's only one who's alive.
Yeah, Brooks.
With all the intel that the Compton Police Department had, how was Keefe D and Big Dre never mentioned at all as suspects by any informants? September 2023, Vegas PD used information from a documentary as their source for who was in the Cadillac. Their source is a man that was facing 25 years to life for a drug charge, which was Keefe D. The original lineup had Darnell Brim, Bobby Finch, Orlando Anderson, and Davion Brooks. It suddenly changed to now Keefe D, Big Dre, Terrence Brown, and Orlando Anderson. Greg Kading claims that Terrence T. Brown, Orlando Anderson, and Big Dre drove to Vegas in a white Cadillac. These 3 in the same vehicle.
Keefe D's nephew Orlando Anderson, along with his friends Terrence Brown and DeAndre Smith, all drive out to Las Vegas to meet up with Keefe D. Guess what they're driving? A white Cadillac.
There was an article that stated that Orlando Anderson drove to Las Vegas with his then girlfriend Rashina in a borrowed car. Orlando's other passion was sports, so on September 7th, he drove to Las Vegas with Rashina in a borrowed car to watch the Tyson fight, checking into the Excalibur Hotel just across the street from the MGM Grand. And this was an article from January 9th of the year 2000. So this mentioned nothing about Terrence Brown or Big Dre. It was alleged by Tim Brennan, backed by informants at the Compton Police Department, that the Cadillac was spotted in Compton driven by Jerry Bonds after the Tupac Shakur shooting with bullet holes. And it said it was appeared to be a rental car. Greg Kading then claims in a Facebook post in 2016 It is not true. The Cadillac that Compton PD claims was involved was not the same Cadillac. Over the Vegas Police Department actually recovered the Cadillac in 1996. It was stolen in Vegas and it was never a rented vehicle. The vehicle had a Vegas license plate confirmed by a witness that was interviewed. The Cadillac never made its way back to Compton because it was not a rental from Compton. These are papers showing that Vegas PD recovered the Cadillac the very next morning. There was no proof of Big Dre being in Vegas on September 7, 1996. Big Dre and Orlando were close friends, but for some reason we never see Big Dre in any video footage at the MGM. Why were they never seen together in Las Vegas? The following is information from witnesses who were actually within 5 feet of Suge Knight's BMW before, during, and after the shooting. Yafafula aka Yaki Gaddafi, key witness, said that the driver of the Cadillac was light skinned. Gaddafi said he confirmed himself as being a very light person, but the driver was light skinned, which would be a few shades darker than Yaki Gaddafi, who was really light skinned. So that means the driver would have had to have been very light. And then anyone in this vehicle that they said was alleged to be in the vehicle, none of them are light skinned. They would not be considered light skin at all, because that'll be lighter than Tupac. None of the alleged passengers or alleged drivers are light skin at all. And then Gaddafi also said he looked like a girl, which meant that he had a soft looking face, which would mean that he had a baby face, which would be related to the driver. And they say that T. Brown, which was in his maybe late 30s or early 40s at the time, was the driver, and there's no way he can have a baby face. The alleged driver does not have a light skin, soft face. So anyone you want to put as a driver did not have a light skin face. Malcolm Greenidge, aka Idi Amin. Witness statement. We understand the Cadillac had no tents. We believe that Idi Amin would have saw a 6-foot, 300-pound passenger easily, again because the Cadillac had no tents. 4 female witnesses that were right next to Suge Knight's vehicle during the shooting. One witness gave a testimony of seeing the passenger of the Cadillac. The Cadillac had Nevada rear license plates. That's how close they were to the Cadillac. To the Cadillac, and also give them possible numbers. The female witnesses describes the front passenger of the Cadillac, male, light brown skin, haircut low, not a bald head, in his 20s, possible late 20s. Now, does that match Keefe D? Does he look like he's in his 20s? The same female witness says she did not notice anyone in the Cadillac back seat. She actually believed there were only 2 passengers in the Cadillac. There's been variances of 2 people involved and 4 people in the Cadillac. Stated that she only saw 2 people in the white Cadillac, although there may have been additional occupants crouching down in the back seat, meaning that if Big Dre was in the back seat, that he would have had to literally crouch down so that he cannot be seen after the shooting, which does not sound reasonable or possible. So one of the female witnesses recognized the front seat passenger but could not see a 300-pound man in the back seat. She believed there was only 2 passengers. How does a 300-pound man hide in a Cadillac without tinted windows? Listen to Greg Kading's true feelings on how he feels about Keefe D, and this is from an interview that was about 7 to 8 years ago.
And, I don't understand why they haven't pursued this. If you have all this evidence against Puffy Combs, why not get him indicted? Why just try and besmirch his reputation? I mean,
okay, so can I explain to you from a law enforcement perspective why? I'll give you a very rational explanation from somebody who comes from within the judicial system. I mean, I think I'm in a much better position to explain why than maybe you are as to speculate why.
Okay, I'd love to hear this.
Okay, so at the point that we get this very compelling information, this critical evidence from these co-conspirators who involved themselves directly in these murders, other co-conspirators that are necessary to corroborate them have died, right? And so now we've got a situation where we have an icon like Puffy Combs with millions and millions of dollars, capable of bringing an A-team of lawyers to court, and we're going to put as our star witness on the stand a convicted drug-dealing gang member like Keefe D and say, hey, jury, this is a case we have. This guy here in the witness box is claiming he had a conversation in which Puffy Combs solicited the murder. Yeah, we can prove all these circumstantial things about Puffy using his crew to do security. We can show all the history of violence between these crews. But ultimately, when it comes down to the claim of a murder, we have this witness who's a drug-dealing gang member who has previously said he wasn't involved, now saying he was. Do you think any DA in the world is going to say, yeah, that's a case I want to take to court? I'd sure like to hang my hat on that prosecution. That's not the way it works. Let me explain real quick, Mike. Within the district attorney's office, when they're evaluating whether or not to prosecute a case, this is how it works. The district attorneys evaluates the winnability of a case before they determine whether to file charges. And they look at all of the evidence that they can bring to court. And they say, wow, we don't have a high probability of winning. Let's not pursue this at this time. And that's where we're at. Unfortunately, all the co-conspirators are dead. We have the testimony of a guy who on the stand, his credibility is going to come into question. All to what? To point a finger at an icon in the music business worth millions of dollars. It's just not a practical